All right, guys, welcome to a very special edition, a Friday edition of Ringside Reporter Podcast. Thanks very much for joining us today. We have a special guest today. We got Jamal James live, man. Jamal, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good, man. Thank you for having me. What's going on?
Oh, man. Not much, man. Not much. We got the big fights this weekend and everything like that, man. But we're going to talk to you first. You're the special guest here, man. So we're going to go ahead and ask you a couple questions, man. Where did Shango come from?
Shango, I actually grabbed from my grandfather. So my grandfather's from Trinidad and Tobago, and when he moved up to Minnesota, he started a calypso band, which is kind of like a reggae band called Shangoya. And he passed away, and then I looked into that name, and Shango actually comes from African mythology, and a lot of people practice it in the islands and stuff like that. And Shango is basically like Thor, you know what I mean? He's the African god of lightning, fire, and thunder, and all that good stuff. And that's what I bring to the ring: the lightning, the fire, and the thunder. So I thought it was a perfect fit.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Now, you just you didn't just fight Yordenis Ugas, but Yordenis Ugas just fought Shawn Porter, and you fought Ugas. Robbie thought you won the decision, by the way. Robbie thought you won that fight, and it was a very close fight. Go ahead, Robert.
I watched that fight, and I thought I thought you won that fight. I was surprised that he was given the decision on the scorecard. I thought you did much better work.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, thank you. You know what I mean? It was a good fight. It was tough. I thought it was a tough, close fight. I thought it was one of those fights that could have gone either way. I kind of took it short notice. I felt if I would have had a full camp, and have been a little more focused, I think I would have definitely made it more clear. But that's not to take anything away from Ugas. You know what I mean? He's a very strong fighter as well. I thought he had a pretty strong fight with Shawn Porter the other day. I thought he just got outboxed a little bit, but it was still a good fight.
And so, what did you think of? Who did you think? Did you think that Ugas beat Porter, or did you think that it was too close of a fight to call, or how did you have that fight scored?
I kind of had Porter winning because he was outboxing him, and even though Ugas was coming forward and putting the pressure on, they were both exchanging good punches. I thought Shawn Porter kind of caught him with a little bit more clear shots and kind of controlled the pace of the fight more.
Okay.
And that's not to say that Ugas didn't get his punches in and made it a very difficult fight for Porter. But overall, I thought he just kind of outboxed him. You know what I mean? But I thought it was close. And if they would have gave it to Ugas, I could have seen that as well. But just in my opinion, I thought Porter had that.
Right. So, realistically, now you're ranked number 3 by the WBA, and I believe you're ranked number 12 by the WBC. Realistically, how close are you to a title shot?
And, man, we're right there, man. We're right there. I've been itching for it. I've been wanting it for so long. Now I just have to be more vocal about it, and obviously every time I go in that ring, perform better and better, and fight, tougher opponents and beat them. And eventually they're going to have to give me that title shot, but I feel like we're there now, so we're going to see what we could do to make it happen.
That's the thing. And, with the WBA, we got Keith Thurman at the top, and then we have Manny Pacquiao. So you have 2 champions, and how you do that, I don't know. But, we got 2 WBA champions. And I think, Manny Pacquiao seems only interested in bigger fights, and Keith Thurman wants to fight once every, I don't know, every 6 months or so. I don't know. Is it frustrating to be in that position where you're number 3, you're right at the doorstep, and you got these 2 guys that, may or may not want to fight you? You know what I mean? I mean, how do you kind of deal with that? I mean,
well, you just got to trust in your corner, trust in your management. Al Heyman is a great manager. Him and his team, ever since I signed with them, they've been pushing me. Obviously, it does get frustrating, at times, but you just got to stay focused. I was always taught that the battle does not go to the swift nor the brave, but he who can endure till the end. So as long as I stay in shape and stay ready, the opportunity will present itself, and then I'm going to take advantage of it.
Okay. So I've always wanted to know, you mentioned Al Heyman, and the one thing I always wanted to know is, how does the whole thing work, in the sense that, do they come to you with a fight and you tell them, hey, or do you tell them, hey, no, I want to fight this guy next, or do they come to you and say, hey, we want you to fight this guy next?
A little bit of both, you know what I mean? Sometimes we got a guy in mind that we want to fight, but the most of the time, they send us people, and then we have the overall say of who we accept. But we want the champions, obviously, since we're that close. So now it just comes down, to the politics of the game. You know what I mean? You got to be able to have a big enough name and be a big enough draw that people are going to want to tune in to see that fight. And that's basically what it's kind of coming down to now. I fought very tough competitors. I've beaten very tough competitors. But a lot of them, unless you're in the boxing world deeply, you wouldn't really know them if you were just an average fan. You would. So now it's time, I got to start beating guys with a little bit bigger names that are more known outside of those deeper boxing fans and just regular boxing fans who, if they flipping through channels and the fights are on, they'll stop and watch it. You know what I mean? So it's just a little bit of that right now. You know what I mean? Just becoming a bigger name, being more vocal. That way, people are going to want to tune in to see that fight. If nobody knows who I am, obviously the champ isn't going to want to fight at nobody unless he's going to get paid a gang of money for it. And who's going to pay him a gang of money to fight for nobody?
Right.
So it just comes down to stuff like that now. But I think we're getting it handled. As long as we keep fighting on TV, getting that televised look on FSN or whatever other channel on the PPC joint, it'll definitely happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you kind of keep doing what you're doing, and it's bound to. I mean, as long as you keep winning.
Yes, sir.
What, who would you fight next if you had your choice? Who would you fight next?
If I had my choice, I'd fight Thurman or Pacquiao, really. I'm ranked the highest in the WBA. They got the WBA belts. I want one of them. I want to see. I want that chance. But really, I want a world title. When it comes down to it, I want a world title. I've been boxing all my life. Turned pro in 2009, but I have been boxing amateur ever since I was 8 years old. So I want to, put myself up against the champions and show them that I got what it takes. So anybody who was really willing to give me that opportunity, I'm going to take the opportunity. But since I'm ranked the highest in the WBA, I want to fight a Keith Thurman. I want to fight a Pacquiao.
Wow. That's, and I tell you what, I mean, you talk about like Pacquiao and everything like that and Keith Thurman. I think they're both very beatable guys. You know what I mean? I think they're at this stage anyway.
Oh, yeah.
To me, I mean, apparently you see it too. They are. I think you match up very well against those two guys.
Oh yeah, everybody's beatable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just gotta have that type of will and endurance and be there for it. Nobody's invincible. You just got to be prepared too. You just got to know that you ain't invincible either. You know what I mean? So you work on your weaknesses and you make your strengths even stronger.
Right. When we talked about the Ugas fight, what about that? What about him actually gave you trouble in that fight?
You said what was the trouble in that fight?
Yeah. Did he give you anything? Did he give you any trouble in the sense of, I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that?
I think my game plan was just all wrong. Like I said, we took that fight like 3 days notice. So I didn't really have time to like kind of study him. I kind of just looked at his record, and he had 3 losses on his record. But I found out later that he was still a bronze medalist, and those three losses came because he had, or at least what I was told, is that he had lung problems, so he wasn't breathing good. So he was actually beating the guys at first, and then run out of gas, and then lose the fights. So, I got in there, and pretty much just kind of underestimated him. And I went in there thinking that I could just kind of bully him. At the time, I kind of wanted to get a little bit more knockouts because that's what people like to see. That's what people are going to tune in to see. And I just fought him all. I'm standing in front of him, trying to bang with him, trying to catch him with something hard so I can knock him out. But that's his fight game. That's what he does. You know what I mean? He likes to slug with you. That's what he's going to do best, just knock you out. So I should have just boxed him. And at the later rounds, I want to say like the last 2 rounds, I started to. And that's when I started catching him and kind of makes him frustrated and a little foolish. If I would have started that earlier, then I think I would have been victorious. But it was too late already.
There you go. Robert, you have some questions for the champion?
Yeah, I sure do. I'm sitting here thinking about possible opponents for you, Jamal. And since you might have to wait on Thurman or Pacquiao to decide what they're going to do with their careers, what would you think about the possibility of you fighting somebody like Danny Garcia?
Oh, I would love it, man. I would love it. He was a champion, very big name, very big following. Beating somebody with that type of reputation would, undoubtedly make me next in line for a title bout. So, there's a lot of guys that were ex-champions with some very big names out there, you got Danny, you got Lamont Peterson, you got the one who just fought Keith Hammond. His name is on the tip of my tongue. I can't. Vargas. You got all sorts of guys out there. But it's just all a matter of timing right now and seeing if they're willing to take the fight. But I'm so close. I'm itching. You know what I mean? I'm itching. I'm so close. I'm itching for a big name or a title fight.
You're in a difficult position because you're at the point of your career where you're ranked high enough where you deserve the big name fighters, but you have to be able to get their attention. And if they're focused on other people, you can't be dormant. You've still got to fight and put your name out there. That's why I thought of somebody like a Danny Garcia or somebody like that who has been on big platforms and could get you the publicity you deserve if you go out there and you're successful.
Exactly right. That's why I appreciate, being on here with you guys. Being vocal is a way to get your name known as well. You know what I mean? That way, being on here, your listeners might look me up after this, check out some of my fights and see, and create a bigger following for me. But yeah, you're right. You know what I mean? I'm like you said, I'm ranked number 3, but I'm still fairly a new name to some of regular boxing fans, outside of Minnesota and the upper Midwest. So once that name is bigger, that creates more pressure for these guys to give me those opportunities because people are going to tune in. People want to see me fight against these guys,
And one more question before I turn you over to Beeb. Do you have an opinion on what's going to happen on Saturday night with Earl Spence and Mikey Garcia, since it does affect your division?
Yeah, man, I'm kind of anxious to see it. I think it's going to be a really good fight. I think, I always felt that Mikey is kind of is a little smaller, I feel like Earl might be a little bit big for him. But Mikey is also very sharp, and he knows how to box as well. And I kind of want to see, if he goes in there and boxes, I want to see how Earl's going to be able to handle that. So right now I'm leaning a little bit more towards Earl Spence on taking the decision, but that's just very little. You never know. So we'll see.
Okay, I'll turn you over to Beeb now and see if he's got questions for you. Right. Beeb?
Yep. Jamal, seeing as how you took the Ugas fight on 3 days' notice, and it can be argued that you did a better job against him than Porter did, and Porter's the champion, does that give you more confidence and make you feel like, hey, I definitely belong at this championship level, and I'm right up there with the rest of these guys?
Most definitely. You know what I mean? The guy who was supposed to fight Perella tonight, I fought on, was Brian Perella. I think that's his name, Brian Perella, something like that. And he ended up fighting him a few months later with the full camp, and Ugas knocked him out. You know what I mean? So that in itself alone made me like, okay, all we got to do is not make the same mistake, make sure we got a full camp. That way we can go in there fully, knowing that we're fully ready mentally. But even seeing that fight, all this stuff is just more affirmation to me that I need one of these title shots. So now it's just about getting that name out there, winning, continuously winning, and always looking better every time I step in that ring until I get that title shot. And when I get that title shot, show out as much as I can and bring home that belt.
Now, you are ranked number 3 by the WBA, so you're knocking right on the door. But there's a lot going on now. A lot of these guys are talking about fighting each other, and your name's not being mentioned right now. Do you fear that you may have to become the mandatory before you get your shot, and is that even a problem for you?
I don't fear it. I think, I just, like I said before, I just got to be more vocal and call them out. I feel like a lot of guys, they're not mentioning my name, but they know the name. And I feel like some of them are just kind of ducking. You know what I mean? I present a very big obstacle for a lot of fighters. I got the height. I got the range. I have a very unique type of power. I'm not a big fella that's going to thump you like a George Foreman or something like that, but I try to be extremely accurate with my shots. And I have a good speed that comes along with that. And that speed with that range is very dangerous for a lot of guys. And, I think a lot of guys that got bigger names that are making big money fights, they don't want to risk it because they feel like if they lose to me, then they're going to lose the opportunities on those other big money fights, So I don't fear it. I just feel like I said before, I just got to make the name more vocal and just keep showing out and keep calling these guys out.
Now, one of the criticisms of PBC is it's said that their fighters don't fight enough, but you seem to be getting your 2 fights in every year. You seem to be getting the fights, and you seem to be busy. What are your thoughts when you hear that? And are you happy with the amount of fights you've been getting, or would you prefer to get even more than 2 fights a year?
No, I'm very happy with PBC and Heyman and them. If you want to fight more, all you got to do is call them up and tell them you want another fight. So guys aren't fighting as much as they want. I don't think it's because they want to fight more. I think that they probably made a sufficient amount of funds that, they want to enjoy themselves a little bit before they get back in that camp. Because, that's where you win or lose the fights is in the training. So those camps and stuff are hardcore. So after a fight, you got to be balanced. But I'm happy with my situation. And I know those guys are working hard to get me to where I told them I want to be, which is that world title opportunity.
Now, you said that you've been on FS1, Fox Sports 1. Have you maybe inquired if you could be on the big Fox network? Because that would be huge exposure for you. Is that something that you've been looking at? Is that something that you've been kind of inquiring about? And is that potentially down the road for you in the near future, being on the big Fox?
I haven't personally inquired about it, but Heyman and his team have already mentioned, we're going to get you these bigger names. We're working on getting you these bigger name fights, and we're going to put you on, some higher viewed stations and stuff like that. So they already, they were already on it before I even had the chance to kind of even think about it and present it to them. At the end of the day, I try to keep things very simplistic in my mind. And in my mind, as long as I keep beating these guys and keep winning, then the opportunity is going to come.
Now, we got a question from somebody in the chat, and they want to know, would you consider fighting Adrian Broner? And I kind of see the angle because Adrian Broner, although he's not a champion, he is a big name, and that's someone that could possibly give you some exposure if you were to fight a guy like Adrian Broner. Okay.
Yeah, most definite. I got an old soul, man. Old school fighters, if you consider one of the best or you're trying to be one of the best, you got to beat the best, And Adrian Broner, even though he's been taking some losses, he's still a very strong opponent. Obviously, he has a humongous name, you know what I mean, through, not only just boxing, the stuff that he's done in boxing, but even outside of boxing with all the controversies and whatever else. He has a huge name and a huge following. So fighting somebody like him and being able to beat him, I think will definitely start making my name ring in a lot of people's ears.
Now, another fight that would be good for you, I think, too, would be a Josecito Lopez fight, because Josecito Lopez just gave Keith Thurman hell. He went life and death with Josecito. That would be a fan-friendly fight to watch, and I think that would be a great television fight right there. What about that one? How would you see that one playing out?
I totally agree, man. Yep. Hey, man, let's line them up, man. I ain't taking nobody, man. You know what I mean? I want that title. When you want the title, you got to fight these cats. You got to go in there and show them what you got. So, I'm willing to fight anybody with those names like that if it's going to bring me closer to the title. And I'm willing to fight anybody without a name as long as it makes sense. You know what I mean? If it's a tough guy who really ain't got no name, as long as the money is right, I'll still fight that guy too, because that's still going to present a fan-friendly fight. But, he's just an unknown type of guy. But, we'll see how it works out, man. I got faith in my management. They're going to work it out for me.
Well, Jamal, thank you so much. I mean, you sound like a breath of fresh air, because we want fighters like you who want to fight the best, and that's what boxing fans really enjoy and what we crave. So that's great to hear you say all these things, because it's really encouraging as a boxing fan to hear those things.
Absolutely.
No, man, I'm glad for the support, man, and I'm gonna take it as far as I can get it. You know what I mean? And thank you for having me on here.
Oh, all right. Absolutely, man. You're welcome back anytime, man. This was great.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Have a great night, man.
Sir.
Thank you so much for stopping by.
You too. Thanks a lot, fellas.
All right, man.
Good luck, man.
Wow, what a great guy, man. I tell you what, man. And he is. He's the nice thing about him. He's willing to fight anyone. It sounds like he's just willing to fight anyone. Robert, what did you think?
Oh, one of the things that I didn't get into, he does tons of charity work for foster kids in Minnesota. He supports the schools. He does all kinds of things, because every time they do a fight, especially from Minnesota, they talk about all the time he spends with kids in the community. He's just a overwhelming great guy, and he doesn't act like your typical boxer that's gotten paid lots of money. He's the type of guy that would literally give you the shirt off his back, because every time he has a fight, he's always promoting a different cause that he's involved in. He's just great for the sport.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so before we go any further, I don't want to make this interview happen. That is true. We got to give Jason credit, because Jason came to me and he asked me, he says, hey, he said, you really should get Jamal James on here. And I said, yeah. And just within a few days, of course, we had it lined up and everything like that. And he was great, man. He really was great. So, yeah, shout out to Jason. That was very good. Very good.
Jason was very active on Twitter, and he was hustling behind the scenes for this one. He's like our publicist.
I wouldn't go that far with it, but yeah, I mean, he was
no.
He recommended him. It's you,
okay.
Robbie. Right? He's like, no.
Please, Rob.
Yeah. No, look, when Eric told me that he was going to be on today, I'm like, oh, well, that's a great catch for us, because I've heard him interviewed several times, and he's a fantastic interview.
Oh, he's awesome. He's awesome. Yeah. I heard him too. And, that's
Jason.
The thing, man.
Thanks, Jason. Thanks, Jason.
And that's the thing, man, is he's got such a good personality. I think, all he needs is like one big fight, because his personality is so good that people, you're drawn to him.
Yeah, well, I think all three names mentioned, I think if he got a fight with one of those three, whether it be Danny Garcia, Broner, or Lopez, I think that would give him exactly what he needed, and it would get him in front of more eyeballs. And I'd love to see him on the bigger Fox, because, FS1's a great channel, but let's face it, it's still the new kid on the block. It's only been around a couple of years.
Yeah.
So he definitely needs to be on a bigger platform and show how good he really is. I like the future of this guy.
Well, what's frustrating, and I tell you what, the Jamal James versus Bronner, that's the fight to make. That for James, that's the fight to make.
I think James would beat him.
He walks over Bronner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think Bronner's best days are done, man. I think listen, Bronner lost to Pacquiao. Listen, I got no more confidence in him. All right.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I took a pie for Bronner. We're done. All right.
I told you. Yeah. We already told you about that. You don't want to listen, just like you don't want to listen about Mikey.
Oh, son, you get murked, son. I can't wait. But that's a great fight for Bronner. That's a great fight for James, because he'll take out Bronner and then become the name. What's kind of frustrating is that a guy like him isn't fighting tomorrow on that undercard. You know what I mean? We see Chris Arreola on there. We see, why not put that guy on there? And maybe there wasn't time and all that other. I mean, there's a million reasons and stuff, but that's the kind of guy I want to see on the undercards.
Right.
Not a Chris Arreola. Chris Areola's on his last legs.
No,
these are the kind of guys you want to see in there.
This would be an outstanding place for him to be, because believe me, unless you're like us and you pay attention to fights, he's an unknown commodity, and if he's put in there against the right guy, people who really follow boxing would really stand up and take notice.
Yeah, I would agree. All right, listen, before we go to our next topic here, I just wanted to let you guys know Blog Talk, of course, was having issues. So, there's no callers tonight, and that's okay. I'm trying to think here. What was I going to tell you guys? Yeah, what did you guys think of the audio on there? The Skype audio was pretty good, huh?
Outstanding.
Yeah,
that Skype audio is incredible, man. We got to get that going.
Right? So
I got to talk to the tech guys.
Yeah, those guys. I tell you what, those guys. I don't know, man. If you're in the chat right now and you're enjoying what we're doing, and if you're not enjoying what we're doing, just give us a thumbs up, man. Make sure to subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. We got. Come on, man. Hit the like button. Come on, give us some love. Give us some love. I'll be calling Beeb's personal line later. Oh my God.
Yeah, I'll let you call in. I'll let you call in on the Beeb phone.
On the bad phone. Well, we can't hear him that way.
No.
Which is fine.
He sounds great. He sounds great on the Beeb phone.
He sounds great on the bad phone. All right. So, given quality for life, what are you talking about? Say I was right about Wilder. What were you right about? If you don't want to give the thumbs up, I mean, it's not going to hurt my feelings at all. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, And
we're not even talking about Wilder on this show.
Well, we will be later.
Okay.
But he said he was right about Wilder. He's going on and on. Do you live in the UK? Do you know if Given Quality lives in the UK or does he live in the US?
I think Given Quality lives in New York, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, well then he has to call in on Sunday, all right? Because we're going to hash this out on Sunday too.
He's a great call too, Given Quality.
We wouldn't know because he never calls. So come on, give us a call.
Given quality for life. Salute. Tone, salute. Unrivaled Boxing Talks and News. Salute. Legendary Boxers, salute. Smash that like button.
Armando Boxing, salute.
I need a speaking spell to pronounce this one. Armando Katrukalakis, salute. Notorious VC. Notorious VC. Salute. Champ Life Boxing. My homie, salute.
the worst part about this is sometimes with the chat, like Notorious, like I'll look over and I'll see Notorious in the chat, and he'll say something, and it just takes me off track sometimes because I'm like laughing in my head because it's funny, you know. It's like it's a trip, man. All right, let's talk about this Spence-Garcia weigh-in.
Slapnut, salute. I'm Rival Box and Talks and News, salute.
What's the matter with you?
Sorry.
Spence weighed in at 146 1/4 pounds, and Garcia weighed in at 145 1/2.
What a specimen he was.
I don't know what weigh-in you were watching, son. Let me tell you what. I talked to Chakal. Chakal, first thing he texted me is he said, that's the work of Victor Conte.
Well, Eric, I was just reading an article about Victor Conte and how he was helping Mikey Garcia so he could make weight for this fight.
Yeah. I thought he looked kind of soft.
I've
seen him look much more like muscled up.
He looked like a Mystery Olympia contestant to me.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what to say about that, babe. Robert, what did you say? Did you think
you guys always try to fat shame people?
Robert's the expert at that, you know. He's always fat shaming somebody.
I think Spence is going to go to that body, man, and when I saw how he looked,
am I wrong, like, Robert?
No, you're not. Man, I'm more convinced than ever. Earl Spence is going to knock out Mikey Garcia, man.
He likes anorexic looking people.
Chakal said he talked to Heredia, and Heredia didn't think he looked good at all. And he said that Chakal said he was going to place a bet on, 6 or 7 round, so maybe 6th or 7th round KO or something like that. He said as soon as he saw him at the weigh-in, he was like, wow. And, he should have been – you remember Kell Brook when he moved up to fight Golovkin, how big he looked? He looked huge.
He was ripped. Yeah. Kell Brook is – one thing about Kell Brook, when he gets in shape, he gets in shape,
for sure.
He's shredded. Sure. He was shredded at 160.
Champ Life just said Mikey's got the mental edge. Spence turned around first. That's the dumbest thing ever, son.
I agree. He was intimidating.
I know you agree. Because you got a lot on the line tomorrow, don't you?
He was intimidating.
You got a lot on the line tomorrow, don't you? I snagged you up like a fish yesterday taking that bet.
But, yeah, Eric, you know what I was impressed with, though? Considering it was this is taking place in Dallas, Mikey Garcia today got the bigger cheers from the crowd than Earl Spence did.
He did. And you know what? I'm not real surprised. And like I said, tomorrow, I won't be surprised if Mikey Garcia is the favorite with the crowd.
Listen, we made sure all of Mikey's fans were going to be there. We know it's up. We know it's up. Viva la raza! Órale! Viva Mexico! Viva Mexico!
Let me tell you what, they could put this fight in L.A. in Mikey's backyard. He still ain't coming out of this one.
I'm wearing my poncho and my sombrero on Sunday show, baby. I'm ready. I'm going to be celebrating.
It's going to get all messy with the pie, no?
Oh, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't. Robert, did you expect him? What did you? I mean, I expected him to be a little bit more bulked up.
Yeah, well, I really wanted to see what the number would be because I had doubts whether he would be able to successfully make even close to the weight. But when Jimmy Lennon read off 145, and then I looked at his body, I'm like, okay, he made it, but look at how soft he is. Earl Spence is gonna go to that body all night long, man, all night.
Did you see that six-pack, man? Come on.
No, I didn't. That's the problem.
No.
He looks so good. He looks so good. He could have been on Playgirl magazine. That's how good he looked.
Listen, I don't read Playgirl magazine, so I don't know what the Beeb's doing over there.
I don't read it either, but
you just look at the pictures.
I was in it a few times. I know how they operate.
You know how they operate.
I was in it a few times.
Hey, ask the females out there which one they'd rather.
Show you the abs.
It's not even on you.
You know don't want to show the abs. You know how these. We'll get like if you show a Beeb ab shot, we'll get at least 20 subscribers in like 3 minutes.
Yeah, right. I think he started his celebration of St. Patrick's a little early, don't you, Eric?
Slow it down, Robbie. Slow it down.
Robert, what did you think of Errol Spence? Errol Spence looked in pretty good shape, no?
Yes, he did.
Yeah,
he's focused, he's ready, and I like what Ray Mancini had to say. He gave him a perfect nickname for him, Cool Breeze, because nothing seems to upset him, nothing seems to ruffle him. He deals with what he has to deal with. He's calm, cool, and collected, and he's ready for tomorrow night.
He is the most laid-back fighter I've ever seen in my life.
He really is.
Like, does he even raise his voice? I can picture, like, him at the house, like, his kids are acting up. Okay, guys. Take it easy. Take it easy now. Take it easy now.
Yeah.
I don't think the guy even raises his voice.
He seems like he does have that mean streak, though. You know what I mean? He seems like he could be really, he's got that mean streak. But,
well, Eric, didn't we interview him a long time ago, and the first impression was, wow, he's very laid back.
No, I talked to him. I talked to him in Chicago before, but no.
Yeah.
Oh, Errol Spence, you did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice guy.
Friend of the show. Yeah. Got a picture with him. He was nice, and he was really cool about it. And you know what? We were in press row, and like this never happens. I mean, if you're there like as like you know with a credential and stuff like that, you have to remain like completely. It's not like you're cheering. I mean, you're human, and if somebody lands a good punch, you're like, oh my god, you know, and you stand up and you do it, you know, but you're not like openly rooting for anybody.
Right.
And I mean, that's just professional, you know. I mean,
yeah,
but with Spence, man, when he came down there, it was after the fight or whatever. He was coming down. He was talking to some announcers and stuff, and then he started talking to members of the press, and they were taking pictures with him. And that's like the first time I've ever seen anybody really do that. You know, that doesn't happen very often, where you're getting selfies with people and stuff like that. I mean, it doesn't happen too often. Honestly, it doesn't. So
he's a real likable guy.
Yeah, super nice guy. Yeah, he's a real nice guy.
Well, you know, that's the one good thing about this pay-per-view. Both of these guys are very nice. And they give good interviews. You know, there's no difficulty in promoting this fight because they both can do a good job of doing that. So, you know, I hope for them that, you know, it's a good showing and everybody is happy with what they see.
Yeah, I think so. Beeb, were you? What did you think? I mean, honestly, of Mikey Garcia at the weigh-in, did you expect him to look bigger? Did you expect him to look more bulked up? I mean, all we heard is, you know, they spent a lot of time talking about Victor Conte. They spent a lot of time talking about he's getting in shape. He's doing this. He's doing that. This is kind of Mikey's body, but I did expect him to look a little bit different than he did.
I thought he looked filled out. You know, he was When have you ever seen a guy laughing and smiling at a weigh-in? Guys like Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather, they laugh because guess what? They walk around at like 3 or 4 or 5 pounds heavier than their fight weight. So
right.
He looked comfortable. Looked very comfortable. Looked happy. The first thing Spence did when he got off the scale is he grabbed a hydration drink. Mikey didn't even grab water. He didn't even grab drinks. He didn't like. Sometimes you see guys put candies in their mouths. They're drinking shit. Mikey didn't even do that. Mikey's ready for this fight. He's in phenomenal shape, man. He's solid as a rock. He's ready.
Well, we'll see if the weight is good for him because you know.
He may even knock Spence out. I don't even know. See the size of those pythons, for Christ's sakes?
Yeah, but they weren't solid. See, there's a big difference, you know.
They were shredded, man. They were shredded. You ever see that movie Over the Top with Sylvester Stallone? They had the arm wrestling contest. He could have been in that movie. Could have been there.
So,
Over
Robert,
the top,
let me ask you, now that you've seen the weigh-in, are you changing your pick at all over to Garcia?
No. Well,
He's
the
lying.
only thing...
He's lying. I saw him at the Vegas window. I saw him at a Vegas window yesterday. He was there.
The only thing I'm convinced on, Eric, this is not going to 12 rounds. I'm more convinced now than ever. I think Spence, if he gets a chance to work on the body, I think he knocks him out. I really do.
Please, Robbie, enough with the hyperbole.
Hyperbole?
No, I really think if he gets a good shot and starts working on the body, I think he could end this.
Enough with the hyperbole.
Yeah, I thought that this had the possibility of maybe going the distance with Mikey's boxing skills and with all the capabilities that he knows how to do. But after seeing the way he looked today, if Spence can get him, maybe it has to be later on in the fight. But if he can get him stationary up against ropes at all, and starts working on his body, I think that's going to be his downfall. I really do.
Robbie, let me ask you a question. Did they put something in the sandwich that you bought at Publix today? Come on.
Publix. It's Publix. Publix.
We don't even have those out here, babe.
I mean, come on, Robbie. When you were at the Publix,
got what is is it Ralph's or something like that?
That's in Southern California. We have Safeway and things like that up here.
You must have a Publix out there, no?
No.
Publix. Jason's got Publix out there. I know Jason's got Publix out in Georgia.
That's in the South, brother.
Because they got it in Florida and everything like that. So.
Yeah.
Do you guys have 7-Elevens out there?
Yep.
No, we don't.
7-Elevens?
No, we don't got
those. What else do we have? You have Walgreens out there?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, CVS, Walgreens. That's everything. You guys have Kroger? Does anybody have Kroger?
Yeah, we got Kroger's.
Yeah. That's where we don't.
Yeah. I heard Jason gets the hot dogs at Publix. Jason, what do you get? What do you get when you go to Publix?
It's Publix, isn't it?
It's Publix. Publix.
Publix. I think Beeb's taking too many punches already. The fight hasn't even started yet.
Slow it down, Robbie. Slow it down. Still got the head movement.
All right, so let's keep it moving here. This next one is just baffling to me, just completely baffling, and I wish we had the phones working because I'd want Champ Life to call in. So Deontay Wilder, let's just kind of set the stage here. Deontay Wilder was offered reports from Mike Coppinger. All right, this is the PBC. This PBC guys love Coppinger. All right. Jason, you can't call in soon. So this is reported from Coppinger that is $100 million for 3 fights was offered to Deontay Wilder, and World Boxing News, WBN, worldboxingnews.net had said that there was a $20 million fight, a $30 million fight, and a $50 million fight. All right. The $50 million fight obviously being Anthony Joshua. So Wilder, and then it was tweeted out by Chris Mannix, and Beeb and I were talking about this, that Chris Mannix actually turned the fight down. Or Chris Mannix didn't turn. Chris Mannix said Deontay Wilder is expected to turn the fight down, or turn the offer from DAZN down. $100 million. Now, I want you to guys think about that. $100 million. All right? And you may say, well, was he guaranteed AJ? Well, what do you think? What do you think? Yes, he was guaranteed AJ. He had to be. AJ had to be in the mix right there. All right? And the fight could have happened easily because they're both on the same network. Everybody's right there. That's it. Yeah, Mannix works for DAZN. That's my point. He's saying that he thought he was going to turn it down. That was our point earlier. He wasn't guaranteed AJ. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, what do you know about it, Jason? You know, he knows nothing. So, Beeb, go ahead and weigh in on this for me. What are your thoughts on this? Because I just find it fascinating.
I'm gonna try and unpack this. And I'm gonna hit it from all angles. Initially, when I heard about it, I was skeptical because again, we heard the $100 million offer with Bob Arum, and we've come to find out that was false. It was announced on Tuesday, but then by Friday, I had Arum on the phone, and he denied it, and he said it was not real. Now, this news came out, I think, at the beginning of the week, and no one has refuted it. Now, at first we heard it was a $50 million deal with one of the fights being Joshua. Now we heard it's a 3-fight, $100 million deal. So Mannix, who does work for DAZN, he confirmed, he said it was a $100 million deal. And my whole thing is...
Shelley Finkel confirmed it too, by the way.
Oh, he did too? Okay.
Yeah.
So if Mannix was going to put that out there and he's a DAZN employee, I think he would be reprimanded by DAZN if it was false.
They would have fired him that day.
Yeah, they wouldn't allow him to do it. So what we're starting to hear now is that there wasn't an AJ fight guaranteed into it, which I don't know if there is or there wasn't. But one article from WB News said that it wasn't guaranteed that there was a Joshua fight in it. And they also wanted him to fight 2 fights. They wanted the Brazil fight, number 1, and they wanted another fight after the Brazil fight, number 2. So pretty much, Wilder had already banked on fighting Brazil on either Fox and Showtime. He said that. So I guess what Wilder wanted just a 1-fight deal from DAZN to fight Joshua, and they wanted to lock him in for 3. And it's still very unclear whether or not a Joshua fight's included in that deal. We don't know. So from Wilder's standpoint, I mean, that's a lot of money. It's probably more money. They were offering him $20 million to fight Brazil, where he's getting $12.5 million to fight Brazil with either Showtime or Fox. I'm speculating it's going to be Fox. So it's more money. They're giving him more money, but he's also giving up control of his career. So basically, they're taking him and using him to help build their subscriber base in the United States. And what he wants to do is, his main goal is just to fight Joshua. So that's what he wants. So I kind of see both sides of it. From a business standpoint, you could sit there and say, okay, well, he's getting $100 million for 3 fights. So if you do the math, it's essentially the same deal that Canelo's getting. It's like $33 million a fight, right?
Yep.
Basically the same deal Canelo's getting, but it's only for less fights. But if his main objective is to fight Joshua and fight Joshua as soon as possible, or at least after the Brazil fight, then I could see his point. I could see his point, because I don't think he wants to tie himself down. I think he likes being a free agent. And I think he wants to do a fight by fight. So the problem I have with all of this is, we keep hearing about how Eddie Hearn, and we keep hearing about how DAZN wants this fight so badly. They want this fight so badly. Then just offer him a 2-fight deal to fight Anthony Joshua, $50 million apiece, and call it a day. Okay, we'll give you a 2-fight deal. Both fights will be with Joshua. $50 million apiece. And call it a day. Or give him 1-fight deal. $50 million flat. Or whatever. Maybe give him some residuals. I don't know. But give him Joshua. Don't make him have to jump through hoops to get to Joshua. Give him Joshua, like Eddie Hearn. Oh, we'll give you $15 million for 1 fight, and then you can get Joshua. No, give him fucking Joshua. If you want the fight so bad, then make a $50 million offer, like he made supposedly he made a $50 million offer to fight, for Joshua. Give him that same $50 million offer and make the fucking fight. DAZN has all this money, right? So just give him $50 million to fight Joshua. And then if Joshua beats him, then you have the belt. So that's what I don't understand. Why is it with all these stipulations that they want to get Wilder, they want to lock Wilder into a 3-fight deal, and it's not even guaranteed that he fights Joshua? Don't sit there and say you want this Joshua fight so badly, but you're putting obstacles in front of it with every turn. Now that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money, and again, it's more money than he's going to be making if he's possibly fighting on Fox and Showtime, possibly. But it does not get him what he wants. He wants the Joshua fight. So stop procrastinating and give him that Joshua fight. Work out a deal where he can get Joshua after he beats Brazil. That's it.
What if that fight can't be made right away?
Why can't it be made right away?
Well, why can't Deontay Wilder fight somebody else first?
He is going to be fighting somebody else. He's fighting Brazil.
That's my point. It's his mandatory. AJ's got 3 belts. He's got mandatories too.
They want to use Wilder to grow their app in the United States. They're looking for subscribers.
They want to use Joshua too. They want to use Canelo. They want to use Triple G. They want to use all these guys. Yeah, that's the name of the game. That's called business. That's what it is.
But this Wilder wants what he wants, and
What's the difference? Let me ask you this: what's the difference between what Tyson Fury did and what Wilder did? Nothing.
Well, Wilder didn't sign. Tyson Fury did.
Okay. Tyson Fury, if Wilder would have signed, he would have fought Tyson Fury. Right?
But he didn't want to sign.
Tyson Fury took a deal and said, hey, let's fight. And then the fight fell apart.
But don't you see what's going on here? They want to use Deontay Wilder to build up their own platforms. And all Wilder wants
is not like they're not going to pay him.
They are going to pay him, but he wants to be guaranteed the Joshua fight, and he wanted to fight Fury next. He didn't want to have to wait. Why would he have to fight a fight in between before he got the Fury fight?
Because maybe Joshua has a mandatory. And maybe he can't. Maybe he can't fight. We don't know
that. We don't know that right now.
I don't know that, but I am playing devil's advocate here. Maybe he has a mandatory, and maybe he can't fight him next. But you're talking about 3 fights, $100 million. Now, this isn't like the fake $50 million that that he supposedly offered Joshua. That one side said was never there, and one side says was there. Listen, Shelley Finkel confirmed it. It's there. It's real simple.
But why does he have to fight?
You sign it, and you fight.
But why does he have to fight 2 fights before he gets Joshua?
What does it matter?
It does matter because it makes him
not at all.
Because if he's been waiting for this fight. This is the biggest fight in boxing.
And now he's not going to get it.
It's not going to get any bigger if we wait any longer.
How do you know?
Because he's
either way.
It's not going to get the fight. This fight is as big as it's ever going to get. Right? Everybody wants this fight yesterday, and he's already been fucked around for 1.5 years now, going on 2 years. He wants this fucking fight. He doesn't want to bullshit around by having all these interim fights, by signing these deals for multi-fight deals. This is a Don King move. This is what they did to Tim Witherspoon. You'll get a shot at the title if we lock you down for 2 other fights. What if he doesn't want to
$20 million for? Didn't you say they offered him $20 million for Brazil?
Correct.
And what did the PBC offer him? $12.5 million.
Right.
And so he doesn't want to take that. It's a duck, son.
He wants Joshua.
Say it whatever you want. It's a duck. Robert, weigh in.
But why are they putting 2 other fights in front of Joshua? Why? Why don't they just give him Joshua? Why don't they let him fight his mandatory? Why don't they let him fight his mandatory?
First of all, we don't even know that. I know what WBN reported.
Okay.
But I mean, honestly, we don't know that.
Okay, let me play devil's advocate here.
Real quick, Robbie. Let me make this point here real quick. Now, if we take the WBN article out of it, because again, we don't know, we don't know because nobody's real privy to the contract. But they say, and there's people in the chat saying, "Hey, you haven't seen the contracts and blah blah blah." That's the point. You haven't seen the contracts.
Yeah, you're right.
All right,
you're right.
But listen, it stands to reason though. If they're offering him $100 million. Don't you think, what? Who are they going to offer? Who's going to bring in that kind of money? Him fighting Dillian White? Him fighting Alexander Povetkin? No.
But Eric, can I tell you something? He beats Brazil. They offer him a $50 million to fight Joshua. Say he wins. Then he has the opportunity and the luxury of taking all 4 belts and fighting. Like, if he wins all 4 belts, sky's the limit for him no matter where he fights. He's not going to need his own money, Eric. That's what I'm trying to say.
If he gets all 4 belts, he won't need $100 million?
He won't.
Dude.
He won't need his own. He'll be able to generate money, that type of money, anywhere. That fight, if he beats Joshua, okay, that fight could turn him into a pay-per-view star. And then sky's the limit for him. He's looking at the big picture. He's looking at the big picture. The zone is scared. You know why? Because they're not 100% sure Joshua beats him. So what if he signs a one-fight deal over there and he beats Joshua, takes all 4 belts, then the zone is fucked. You see what I'm saying? The zone is thinking of their future, and I'm not criticizing the zone. I'm not saying it's a bad offer. What I'm saying is Deontay Wilder was willing to roll the dice and bet on himself, sort of like Bernard Hopkins for years who did it his way. Sort of like Floyd Mayweather for years who did it his way. And at the end of the tunnel, they ended up being right. So if he beats Brazil and then he sits down with him and says, just give me a one-fight deal, we'll have a rematch clause in it. If Joshua wins, then, I'll fight again on the zone. But if I win, I have the luxury of fighting wherever I want. And I can go wherever I want. He believes in himself. He's got confidence in his abilities. These other guys don't, because they're afraid, so they're trying to lock him in so they can so if he does win, they can lock him down for 2 more fights. He doesn't want to be locked down. He wants to fucking fight Brazil, beat Brazil, knock him out, fight Joshua, and then take all 4 belts and say, hey, I'm running the show now. I'll go wherever the fuck I want. You fight me where I want you, where I want to fight. That's what he wants.
What did Mannix say that he wanted? This was a quote from Deontay Wilder. He said that he wanted generational wealth. He wanted this. He wanted that. And the DAZN contract covered all of them. It seems like a no-brainer.
Okay, he still has generational wealth.
Generational wealth. All right. I'm gonna go at this from 2 different directions. So hang with me for a minute. Joshua does have 3 different belts. So he's eventually going to have 3 different mandatories. The last mandatory he fought was Alexander Povetkin. So what if Eddie Hearn and Joshua pull out, well, I need to fight my mandatories, and delay Wilder longer? That could be a problem. But see, this whole division with Tyson Fury being on ESPN, with Joshua being on DAZN, and Wilder being with the PBC and Fox, I'm beginning to wonder, are we ever going to see these guys fight one another? Because let's face it, in order for these fights to happen, you cannot put a unification heavyweight championship fight on just an app. It's got to be on pay-per-view, brother. This is why I'm so against apps like DAZN and ESPN Plus. Boxing needs to be on, platforms where millions of us could see it. So either put the fights on a major network like Fox or put it on pay-per-view. I mean, as it is, it looks like if the Brazil fight happens, that's going to be our pay-per-view event for May. And frankly, it's not worth it. But with the money that Wilder has to be paid,
here's another angle.
So what you're saying is you'd rather pay $80 on a pay-per-view than pay $10 on an app?
Absolutely, Eric. In my case, you better believe it, because I'm
listen,
sorry.
We're not all John D. Rockefeller over here. Got money to throw around.
I'm not either. I'm not either. But I have doubts about their viability. I don't think they actually have all this money available.
But Eric,
well, what do you care if we get to see the fights for that much money?
Eric, here's one point you're missing.
Yeah.
Here's one point you're missing. He fights Joshua. Joshua's got the Sky money and the DAZN money. Now, is Wilder getting any of that Sky money? So, I
don't know.
We don't know that, but
we don't know. Yeah, we don't.
I suspect he's probably not, but I could be wrong. But this is another angle. You guys are looking at it wrong. So, would you agree that if Wilder beats Joshua, he becomes a star? Would you agree with that? Yes or no?
If Wilder beats Joshua, he becomes a star? Yeah, I think so.
So he beats Joshua, takes all 4 belts, right. and then he turns around and fights the rematch on Fox on pay-per-view in America. You don't think that fight will be bigger than any? You don't think he'll make more money on pay-per-view after he beats Joshua on Fox that he could make on DAZN in the rematch?
I don't know. I don't know.
But is there a possibility that he could?
Oh, sure. There's a possibility. Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So he's thinking of the long game. Okay? He's saying to himself,
I don't know that he is.
I think he is. This is in my opinion, and again, I'm not there. In my opinion, this is what he's saying. He's saying this. I knock this guy out. I take all 4 belts. I go back to America, a pay-per-view star. My next fight's on Fox pay-per-view. Sky's the fucking limit. They're going to all be knocking on my door. They're going to be fighting where I want them to fight me, and I'm going to be fighting where and when I want to fight. Why am I going to still be locked into them after I beat that guy? He knocks him out, and then he's still going to be on the zone, and then he's going to still get less than Anthony Joshua in the rematch. Because Anthony Joshua is going to get that Sky pay-per-view money, and Wilder's not going to get anything. He's just going to get the flat fee once again. He wants to be in control of his own destiny, and you know what? As a fan, I'm sorry that this is happening. It's playing out, but then again, I'm not happy. I'm not unhappy it's playing out this way because I don't want to wait longer for this fight. I want this fight next, and he wants this fight next after Brazil. And if they're going to make him wait another fight, and then they're going to run the bullshit mandatory game on him, and then they're going to just fucking milk it out, and then try to fucking drag this thing out longer than it has to be, longer than it should be, and it's already been dragged out long enough. I don't want this thing dragged out anymore. So I'm glad he's doing this now. Now that I think of it, if this Joshua fight is not a guaranteed fight in these 3 fights, then I'm glad he's doing this. Because as a fan, I don't want to see 2 other fights and then Joshua. I want to see Joshua after he knocks out Brazil. That's what I want. I'm fucking tired of this bullshit.
Yeah, but now you're not going to get it at all.
I frankly...
Why? Because now they're going to have to come back and say, okay, we'll give you what you want.
Notorious. I think it was Notorious in the chat said it best. Deontay thinks he's the A side, and he's not. And that's what he needs to realize.
But as time goes on, they keep giving him more and more and more and more. First of all, $12.5 million. We're not giving him any more. Then they give him 15.
Well, you're talking about 50. Eddie Hearn. You're talking about Eddie Hearn. You're talking about the Zone. The Zone's a different animal.
Okay. So you don't think the Zone is going to come back and just say, okay, we'll give you 1 fight for $50 million?
No.
Why not?
Why would they?
Because they want the fight. If they want the fight as bad as they say they do, why wouldn't they? They said this is the biggest fight in boxing. They said that. They said they want this fight more than any other fight right now. They said that. So do what needs to be done. They gave him $100 million. Not for that fight.
They did that.
For 3 other fucking fights.
No. For 3 fights total. 3 fights.
Was Joshua a guaranteed fight in those 3?
I don't know.
And that's the problem. And that's the problem. We don't know. They needed to tell us it was. We needed to know that. Wilder needed to know that. Yeah. That's why. We all needed to know that.
That being said, do you really think they're going to give him $100 million for 3 fights? Who could garner
Give him 50 for 1. Give him 50 for 1.
They're going to. They were going to 50 for 1.
No, they weren't. We don't know that.
We don't know that. But that's what the article said. So let's take the article out of it. Let's take the article out of it.
Okay, so if they were going to give him 50, they were going to give him 25, 25, and 50, right? So they were already going to give him the 50. So take the other fucking 25 and 25 out and just go with the 1 fight $50 million. Why can't they do that? What's the difference? What's the difference?
Why couldn't they just give Canelo just 1 or 2 fights then? Because they want him on the network, Beeb.
And he doesn't want to be there long term. He wants to be able to take these belts.
It's hardly long term.
Well, he wants to take these belts as soon as in his mind, he thinks he can win. So he wants to take these belts with him and go anywhere he wants with them and not be told where he's going to fight. He wants to be a pay-per-view star. I don't care what anyone says. We're jumping the gun here, and we're sitting here saying pay-per-view's dead. I don't think that we have seen any evidence in the near future that pay-per-view is dead. And we don't know that these apps are going to take over. From a fan standpoint, of course I want to pay $9.99 instead of $80. But I guarantee you, if this fight was on pay-per-view, Wilder versus Joshua, it does 1 million pay-per-view buys in the United States, and it does 1.5 million in the UK. And you're not going to tell me that if this fight is on pay-per-view, that it's not going to do more money than a DAZN fight. DAZN, Joshua doesn't give a fuck. You know why Joshua doesn't give a fuck? Because he's already getting the UK money. He's already getting the Sky money. Okay?
How much is the Sky money really? How much? I mean, seriously, how much is the Sky money really?
Honestly,
the pay-per-view of it is like $25.
Okay, but if they do 1.5 million buys over there, which they most certainly will, probably even more, okay? How much do you think he's going to get on that? At least another 10 million off the top.
Maybe not.
At least 10 million.
That's the other thing. We don't know the terms. We don't know what he gets off Sky. I mean, we're just talking out of our rear because we don't know what he gets on Sky.
This is the part of boxing I hate.
But he is Sky Boxing. They have thrown. Who else has a long-term deal? Name another UK fighter that Sky has locked down for 3 years like they have Joshua locked down for 3 years.
I don't know.
He's the only one.
He's the only one. So they got to be paying him. So Wilder's just going to get the DAZN money, okay? And he's not going to get it.
How old is Wilder?
33 years old.
33.
Yeah.
I'm not moving the goalpost. I'm looking at it from all angles.
The time is now.
Can anyone in that chat tell me that if Wilder beats Anthony Joshua, I don't mind. The first fight should be on DAZN. It should be on DAZN. But the second fight should be on DAZN as well if Joshua wins. But if Wilder wins, that second fight should be wherever he wants it to be. That's all.
Why can't DAZN hook up with somebody and make it a pay-per-view fight here in the
U.S.? Why do you want to pay for? I don't understand. Like, what is your fascination with? Instead of paying $10, I want to pay $90 for it.
If I went over your house tomorrow and I showed you how easy it was, I want to fly down there.
I do too. I want to fly down there for you.
I want to buy you a Chromecast for $30. Stick it in the HD. All you gotta do is stick a Chromecast in the HDMI jack.
That's it.
You stick it in an HDMI jack, Robbie, and then you take your TV and you put it on that HDMI jack, right? And you hit a little Chromecast button, and that fight is on your television set, Robbie. It's that fucking simple.
Yeah, I know.
Text me your address at the end of the show, and I will friggin' buy a Chromecast and I'll ship it to you.
Yeah, and everybody in the chat, is there anybody out there who would pay $90 for a fight instead of $10?
I have no problem.
You're a moron if you do.
I have no problem having the first fight on DAZN. But honestly, if I am managing Wilder right now, this is what I would ask for. Give us a one fight deal. Okay? Have a 2-fight deal with Hearn, with the rematch clause. Both sides, whether it's a draw or not. This is what I would do if I was Wilder's side. Give me $50 million for the first fight on DAZN. If I win, the second fight can be wherever I want. If you win, I have to come back to DAZN. And that's it. Because I can't say I know, but I am very, very confident if Deontay Wilder beats Anthony Joshua and becomes the unified heavyweight champion of the world, and they put the rematch on Fox pay-per-view, I know that does 1 million, maybe 1.2 or 1.5 in the United States. I know that. I'm pretty confident that happens. I think they do at least 1.2. I'm even going to say it does 1.5. I'm going to say it does 1.5 the rematch. Has the potential to do 1.5. If that fight ends up turning into a Vladimir Klitschko Anthony Joshua fight, and then Deontay Wilder ends up winning, if he pulls out that 12th round like he did against Fury, but Joshua doesn't get up, and they do a rematch and they put it on Fox pay-per-view, that fight does 1.5 million. That's a lot of ifs in there.
There's a lot of ifs. And the first
there's a lot of ifs.
The first if is if I fight Joshua, which is now out the window.
Because they don't want to fight him next. They want to fucking
fight him next. Son, they offered him the money. The money's
they
there.
He
doesn't want to fight. He does not want that fight. This is as much of a duck as you're going to get.
How is it a duck?
Because they offered him money
for
the fight, and he did not take it. They
didn't offer him money for that fight.
Looks like a duck, and it quacks like a duck.
They didn't offer him money for that fight. They offered him money for 2 other fights, and they didn't guarantee him the Joshua fight. Come on.
Jerome King, yes, you did miss Jamal James at the end. Just go back and rewatch it, and you'll be able to see the interview. First of all, again, we don't know if they didn't offer AJ. We don't know that.
Well, you know what?
But again, okay, let me ask you this. It's $100 million for 3 fights. All right? $100 million for 3 fights. That's been confirmed. All right? That was confirmed. Let's just take it from here. That was confirmed. Now you tell me. And people out there in the chat, you're welcome to play along with this too. You tell me, out of 3 fights, all right, and I don't think the Brazil fight could have been on there. I don't think it could have been.
But they wanted it. They wanted it.
Yeah, from what I read today, I'm just telling you what I read today. I know they wanted it, but I'm just telling you what they read today. That the fight just maybe would not have fit. You know what I mean? They wouldn't have happened. Okay,
but they still asked for it, though. They still asked for it. Why did they ask for it if they knew it couldn't fit?
3 fights, $100 million. Let's put Brazil in there. That's 1. All right. Let's do 2. Who's the second guy? Let's put everybody but AJ. Who's the second guy he fights?
Dillian White.
Great.
If Brazil is 1, it'd be Dillian White number 2, I bet.
Okay, and then who's the third fight? Not Joshua. That could net you $100 million.
$50 million.
$100 million. 3 fights, $100 million. So let's talk about it.
3
fights, $100 million. We have Brazil. We have White. Who's the other guy? Who? Povetkin? Who?
Tyson Fury.
Tyson Fury's on ESPN.
He's on ESPN.
Okay, but
who's the third guy?
But this is what you're missing. What if he beats Joshua?
Who?
Wilder beats Joshua. He's the first fight. Then the rematch is the second fight. Then the third fight is fucking Fury. How much if Wilder beat Joshua? If Wilder beat Joshua twice, and then Fury would be the third fight, don't you see how much money that Joshua? See, all of these options are gone. They're all gone if he signs this DAZN deal.
No. Well, listen. Again, we'll go back to it because everybody's saying, well, he's not. You know, the speculation is he wasn't offered AJ. I would fall back on, hey, look, he's got $100 million for 3 fights. That's what they're going to pay him. That was confirmed. Okay? Again, if Joshua's not included, who's the third guy? You got White, you got Brazil, okay? And then who?
Can I ask you a question?
Let's just say this. Hang on one second. Let's just say this. Let's say Povetkin. Let's just throw Povetkin's name out there, whether he's possible or not. Let's just throw his name out there. All right? So, Povetkin, do you really think, because that adds up to $100 million, $33 million a fight, do you really think they're going to put him on there? Do you really think those fights are $33 million fights each?
No.
Young guys.
So let me ask you this.
Yes.
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
Let's play out this scenario. Again, not to sound redundant. He fights Joshua, beats him, becomes the unified heavyweight champion. 1 fight deal, right? Because he won.
Okay.
Takes
Takes
the belts, goes on Fox pay-per-view for the rematch. Right?
All right.
And then if Joshua says no, I don't want to go on Fox pay-per-view, fights Fury on ESPN pay-per-view. 1 fight deal. 1 fight deal. Right? Either one of those fights, he would make more money on pay-per-view than a rematch with Joshua on DAZN. Right or wrong?
I don't
know. Right or wrong?
I don't know.
The problem I have with this whole scenario...
if you do the math, it would be almost impossible for him not to make more. Because think about it. Think about this. We've been telling this guy for the last 2 years, just take what they give you. Take what they give you. And each time he says no, they come back with substantially more. We told them to take the 15. Now they're offering them fucking 100. Okay? Or now they're offering them 50 for one. Not even. We don't even know if they're gonna if the Joshua fight's guaranteed. But all I'm saying is, he beats Joshua, becomes the unified heavyweight champ. He's automatically a pay-per-view star in the United States, and the sky's the limit. I think he can make more money off the zone if he becomes champion. That's just my opinion. I really do. I think pay-per-view is the end game. There's no way.
So you think he's more marketable than Anthony Joshua? Because Anthony Joshua is fighting on the zone now. Granted, maybe he does have a contract, maybe he doesn't. I don't know.
In the United States, fuck yeah. In the United States, fuck yeah. And then if he beats Joshua, this guy will be on every friggin' program. He'll be on fucking Jimmy Kimmel. If he beats Joshua,
why is he on there now? Why isn't he on there now? What makes you think he can dictate his terms to be on there? He can't even land a Tonight Show spot. Nobody knows who this guy is. He's not even that popular in Alabama. All right, he can't even sell out his hometown in Alabama.
You are underestimating digital media. He could sell at the Barclays. You're underestimating digital media. It's a different world.
Sells out the Barclays, and they stack the undercard underneath it. By the way,
doesn't matter. This is a new era. This is a new world. Presidential candidates are going on the Breakfast Club right now. Why are presidential candidates going on the Breakfast Club right now? That's a huge platform. Sway in the Morning is a huge platform. Okay? These are huge platforms.
And Joshua got right on.
So Wilder's been on other shows too. He's been on other shows. He's been on Fox. He's been on ESPN. He's been on the largest sports network in the world, ESPN. They interviewed him. So if he beats Joshua, he'll be on Jimmy. You don't think he'll be on the Jimmy Kimmel Show after he beats Joshua at all 4 belts? You don't think he'll be on Jimmy Fallon? You don't think he'll be on all these shows? He's on Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's got 4 million subscribers. 4 million subscribers. That's huge. So I just think you're missing the boat here. I think you're really. We've been telling this guy for 2 years, take what they give you, take what they give you. And each time we turn around, and he ends up being right, and we end up being wrong. So I'm not going to doubt the guy anymore. I think they know what the fuck they're doing. I think they know what they're doing.
Yeah, because he's so popular now.
He is.
He's not. That's the point. He's the heavyweight champion of the world. He's the heavyweight champion of the world, and nobody knows his name.
That's false.
We know his name.
That's false.
He's not a household name. That's the point.
He's getting there. He's very close to being.
He should be there. He's 41 fights in. He's 33 years old. He should already be there. So
is that going to matter when he beats if he beats Joshua and becomes unified champion, and then he becomes a pay-per-view star?
Well, he's got to get the fight with Joshua, doesn't he?
So why don't they just give him the fight and stop with these other bullshit fights? Why do they keep throwing fucking hurdles in his way? Just give him the fucking fight. Stop saying, we'll give you...
Maybe the fight can't be made right now. You know, Joshua's got 3 other belts to worry about, too.
So what?
He's got mandatories. Wilder's got to fight Brazil. That's a mandatory.
Do you think... Yeah, but the WBC wasn't going to enforce that mandatory. I just explained to you before... that these mandatories are bullshit because it's up to the sanctioning bodies to enforce them. Do you think any one of these sanctioning bodies are going to stand in the way of unification bout? Why would they?
I wouldn't. No,
Eric, they wouldn't. They wouldn't, Eric. Stop now. Come on. They wouldn't, Eric. No one's going to stop this fight at this point. That mandatory argument's bullshit. I'm not even going to entertain that.
Well, then why did Klitschko use it? It's such BS. Why did Klitschko use it? He was doing mandatories every couple of months.
Because he's not Anthony Joshua. That's why.
That doesn't make any sense.
He was never a household name in the United States, and he was undefeated for the 10 years. And he never became. That's it, Eric. Come on, Eric. We have to look at this now. Come on. I mean, you're going to be getting the pie in the face on Saturday, on Sunday. Now I feel like throwing a pie in your face right now. Come on. Jason Shaw, you alive?
You can't even understand him, baby. He sucks.
Yeah, we
See
can't.
you later, Jason.
Sounds great. People in the chat can hear him beautifully.
Thanks, man. Thanks for calling, dude.
I've got fans in my house listening to me too.
Later, man. Thanks for calling.
What's going on? World Boxing, you said AJ fight wasn't guaranteed, and I posted it on my Twitter, and my tweet is going viral. It's got like 2,000 likes already. I posted it like 2 hours ago. I said, Wilder says to AJ, let's fight right away.
That's like winning a Monopoly game at your house, dude.
I'm going to give you one tune-up fight on my app first. Then Wilder says, Fury, let's fight right away. Top Rank says, no way, we'll give you one tune-up fight first. How is it that Wilder is the only one that's saying, let's fight right away, and everybody else keeps saying, no, come fight a tune-up fight first on our app? What the fuck does that even mean?
Later, man. Thanks for calling.
Deal started
he's right, he's right, Eric. He's right.
He's not right.
He's right.
He's not right.
If
we can't even hear him. We just hang up on it, seriously, because we can't hear him.
The chat can hear him.
I can't hear him. Seriously, just mix him. It's bad audio. Beeb, seriously, it's bad audio. Jason's calling you on the Obama phone.
They get mad at you. They get mad at you in the chat.
What's that?
No, they get mad at Eric because he's trying to hang up on you. Can you guys hear
me? For Life is mad at me. Oh my God!
No,
we
can't hear him.
We can't hear him, dude.
All right, I have to hang up on you.
Yeah, get rid of him.
I don't want.
What'd
you say about Golden Boy? Say it again.
I said I hate Golden Boy. I hate Golden Boy.
No, this whole...
Yeah,
this
seriously, I mean, they can't hear him, Beeb. I mean, we're seeing it in the chat. Seriously, just hang up on him.
Right. This is the part of boxing I absolutely hate, honestly.
What, his calls?
No.
His calls suck.
This whole division thing, it drives me crazy. You can't put a unification bout like this, of this magnitude, on just an app. You just can't do that.
Why are you so hung up on where it takes place? As long as you can see the fight, what do you care?
Because for this kind of fight, it needs maximum exposure, Eric.
Eric, where do you think Deontay Wilder would get more exposure? On pay-per-view or on DAZN? Why are you even thinking, Eric? Come on. Why are you even thinking? Why are you even thinking?
I don't know.
Let me ask you a question.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know. Let me tell you why. Because on pay-per-view, what are you going to get? Maybe 300,000? Maybe 400,000?
Not for a fight like this. Are you nuts?
Not for a fight like this.
I don't know.
How many bars? Come on,
I don't know that. What is the price going to be? What's the price going to be?
Come on, Eric. Son. Cut it out.
A lot of factors go into it.
Eric, come on, man.
You think it breaks $1 million? I'm not even 100% sure it breaks it. I'm not.
Easily.
I'm not 100% sure.
Easily.
I think this fight, if it's marketed correctly, could get as much as De La Hoya Mayweather. Okay.
Easily.
No.
Easily.
Yeah.
No. This fight. Even Eddie Hearn said this fight does 1 million pay-per-view buys right now.
Yeah.
Even he said it.
Eddie Hearn said it. Wow.
And De La Hoya Mayweather got what, 2.5?
And Eddie Hearn's been shitting on this guy for the last 2 years, and even he said, this is a guy that's been telling. He used to sound just like you are right now, but he's changed his tune.
I mean, be realistic. There's how many homes in the United States have cable these days? What, 150 million? I mean, my God, the possibilities are endless. You've got to have a unit. This is the heavyweight championship of the world, man. You can't have it on an app.
That's the silliest thing I've ever heard, Robert.
But Robbie,
it really is. That's
Robbie
a silly thing.
Robbie and Eric, I am not against having the first fight on DAZN. I'm not. Like, I think they should have the first fight on DAZN. But let me ask you this.
I don't care if they have the fight on YouTube. Okay.
But let me ask. But
as long
answer
as the
this
fight
question.
Takes place, what do we
answer this question? If you were a betting man, answer this question honestly. Both of you answer this question honestly. If you were a betting man, Now, if Wilder were to beat Joshua, okay, which is very possible, he could beat him, and he becomes unified heavyweight champion, and they do the rematch on Fox pay-per-view, are you going to honestly sit there and tell me? Are you going to and the fight? This fight is a can't miss. It's got to be a phenomenal fight. There's no way this fight could ever be a stinker. It's impossible. Okay, so this fight's going to be a barn burner. And say it turns out to be a barn burner, which it's going to be. I feel very confident in saying so. And then he wins by knockout, and he becomes unified heavyweight champion. Are you going to honestly sit there and tell me the rematch does not do over 1 million pay-per-view buys on Fox pay-per-view? Okay, if you were a betting man and I put a gun to your head and I said million or no, what would you say?
What did the last Triple G fight do? What did the last Triple G Canelo fight do?
But we're talking about heavyweights, Eric.
Heavyweights we're talking about, son.
This fight right now is bigger than Golovkin Canelo.
I'm asking you.
1.2. 1.2.
It did 1.2?
Yeah, 1.2.
All right, then I think it equals that then.
Thank you.
Yeah, I do. I think it equals that.
So if you're Wilder and you really believe in your heart that you can beat this guy, right? And you say to yourself, when I beat this guy, I want to be able to call the shots. I want to be on. I want to make the rematch on USA pay-per-view. Why would Wilder be wrong in doing that? Why is he wrong? He would be getting more money to do. He would get more money in the long run if he wins and the rematch is on Fox pay-per-view. He would get more money. He would be making more money that way, instead of being forced into the rematch and getting the same amount of money he got in the first fight. What's this fucking bullshit of, okay, we're going to pay you the exact same when you win? Julian White wasn't going for that either. So if you win, we're gonna lock you into making sure we pay you the same amount that you got in the first fight. That's fucking bullshit. When has that ever happened? When?
Son.
Come on.
So
he beats Joshua.
So he turned down. Let me. Okay, just so
wait a minute. Wait a minute.
He did turn down $100 million.
Doesn't matter. Answer this question, and I'll shut up after you answer this question. Please answer this question. If he beats Joshua, should Joshua get more than him in the rematch?
No, I think that's pretty clear.
Then he would be getting more than him in the rematch if that was the case.
If he fights him on the zone, how do you know?
Because he'd be locked into the zone.
So you don't think that they negotiated that out?
I don't know.
We don't know. That's the point. That's the point.
I don't even know if Josh.
That's the point.
We don't even know if Josh. This is the problem I have with you. This is a huge problem I have with you. Is the Joshua fight guaranteed in those 3 fights? Has it been made public that Joshua fight is one of those 3 fights? Yes or no?
No, it is speculation. You're correct.
Okay.
It's not true.
So if you're Wilder, and they won't even fucking guarantee him to be in one of those 3 fights, then why would you sign that deal?
Well, again, we don't. Number one, we don't know. We don't know if that's the case. Only Wilder and only DAZN know that. All right, and Shelley Finkel, who confirmed all this stuff, by the way. Of the 3 fights, $100 million. And I'll ask the same question again. You have Dillian White, you have Dominic Breazeale. Who is the third that you could qualify him to get $100 million contract to fight? There's only one guy. Only one. That's it.
So why are they putting... We don't know that, though.
We don't know. And that's the other thing. Well, the other thing is we don't know that they're not giving him Joshua. We don't know that Joshua is not the second fight. We don't know.
No, they're saying there's 2 fights.
Who says? We know WBN says it. That's it. And they what are they privy to? We don't know.
So what are you saying, that the first fight is a tune-up fight and the second 2 are Joshua fights?
That's what I'm thinking. That was the first thing I read. You know what? That was think about it. That was the first thing I read. Was that the first fight was a tune-up, and then the next 2 fights were going to be Joshua.
So that's even worse. That's even worse then. Think about you. Oh my God! You don't have a calculator either, like the UK fans. He beats Joshua in the first fight. You're going to turn around and tell him he's going to get the same amount in the rematch? When he can go on pay-per-view and fucking do a $1.2 million and fucking make fucking $70 million?
Yeah. If I play the lottery tonight, I can get $400 million. How about that?
Eric, this is
You're living in fantasy land, son.
Oh, so you get 50-50 odds when you play the lottery? It's a 50-50 fight. It's a 50-50 fight.
I think the holiday for him has started early, man. It's way out there.
It's a 50-50 fight. It's a 50-50 fight. 20 for fucking
Teddy Atlas.
20 for Brazil. 40 for the Joshua fight, and 40 for the rematch, even if he wins. Fuck out of here with that. Fuck out of here with that.
Beeb, off the rails tonight, man. Beeb,
I got a fucking calculator.
Hey, you better smash that motherfucking like button. This is classic, man.
Let's do 125 million times 75. Let's do the math there.
Beeb's an accountant now.
Man, hit that fucking like button, man. This is Beeb off the rails, man. This is 5150 kind of stuff, you know? Wow.
All right, listen. We're actually going to head out of here now. I know 7:30's hit, so we're a little bit over with. I want to actually go ahead and sign off of here because we're actually on overtime right now. So, guys, tomorrow night, after the Garcia fight, after the Garcia-Spence fight, we're going to go live. We'll probably watch the end show or whatever. We're gonna go live right after the fight. So we'll go ahead and just go ahead and just keep us in mind when you come on. If you're on the internet out tonight, or you're on the internet tomorrow night, just keep us in mind, man. We'll come out there. Do me a favor, guys. Hit the like button. What are you guys doing? Hit the like button, man. We got a lot of people watching. We got X amount of like. Come on, man. Hit the button.
Eric.
What?
Eric.
What?
If this fight does 1.2
still on this. Son, I'm trying to wrap it.
I don't care. You can't wrap it. I'm not allowing you to wrap it. I'm taking over the production. Okay. If this fight does 1.2 pay-per-view, 1.25 pay-per-view buys, okay? It generates $93,750,000 in pay-per-view revenue. You mean to tell me a fight on DAZN can generate that much?
Absolutely not.
Come on now.
How do you know?
Oh my fuck! I'm getting a headache.
How do you know?
I'm getting a headache.
You don't know.
I gotta fucking buy Eric Loder a calculator, and I gotta get him a Hooked on Phonics accounting class.
A Hooked on Phonics? That doesn't even make any sense. Do you know what phonics is?
Everything I say makes sense when I put words together. It's a beat.
Hooked on Phonics is for reading, brother, not math. Oh. Anyway.
Well, you have to read the book, the accounting book, to learn it, don't you, Robbie?
Yeah. Oh my God, this is great.
Wilder will be a pay-per-view star if he beats Joshua. It's impossible for him not to be.
But I'm worried.
Is anybody hitting the like button out there?
I'm worried, Beeb, if he'll actually get the opportunity.
That's the point. See, Robert's smart. He uses his brain.
Okay, half of that goes to the provider. There's $46 million left. Almost 47. Okay. Let's take 20. Let's take fucking 15 million off that. So there's 30 million left.
31.
There's $31 million left. Okay? There's $1 million left. Okay? Let Joshua keep his UK pay-per-view, and Wilder can keep his United States pay-per-view. That's $31 million on top of whatever guarantee they're going to give him. It's a fucking $80 million fight if he wins in the rematch for Wilder. It's an $80 million fight for Wilder in the rematch.
And Beeb, I think you're being optimistic for this fight. I think it'll be more than $75.
We ought to put the fight. Okay. Where do you think the fight takes place in? Do you think it takes place in Vegas or Fantasyland, Beeb? Which one?
No, I put it in Cowboy Stadium. Is where I put it.
And they put this fight in Vegas. Or they put it in Madison Square Garden. What's the fucking live gate? They charge $5,000 for ringside.
Hey,
what's the fucking live gate gonna be?
Fuck this hole.
Fuck the zone.
I put it in Cowboy Stadium, 100,000 seats.
Can't do that, Robbie. The tickets only be 80. The tickets only cost fucking $20 each. So
put it in Azteca Stadium where they sold 130,000.
Let me put this fucking fight together. Let me do this fight.
And on that note, I am going to save Beeb from himself. We are signing off here. Again, man, check us out tomorrow night. Doing a live thing right after the Spence fight. And Sunday, also tune in. We're going to be a special time on Sunday, 12 noon on Sunday. And that way you can watch Beeb Take the Pie live on TV. So there you go.
I think you're lying about Blog Talk being down. You don't want to get roasted for all these people in the chat. I know it.
Son, you know if anybody can take some heat, I can take some heat, but I can also give some heat too. So anybody was welcome to call in. So there you go.
We had to have that fire extinguisher put on you over there. You would have got
cool as ice, baby. You ain't
Tone, salute. Quality for life, salute. Legendary Boxer, salute. Joe Lopez, 40 ounce, salute. Richard Dawkins, Combat Radio, salute.
Raphael Dawkins.
Raphael, sorry.
Yeah.
Too hyped up right now.
When Sean Newton said you were unlikable, this is what he meant. You know what I mean?
But he did say he doesn't hate me.
Yeah, well, I mean, hate's kind of a strong word. He did say I was more likable, though. Did say I was more likable.
Oh, of course, because fantastic stuff.
Because you and him freaking take the same drugs.
Hopefully Beeb doesn't drop acid before the show tomorrow, so happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone.
Yeah, you know what?
Did you have pythons like this if you were on drugs? Cut it out.
Yeah, you know what, Eric, it's going to be fun to see him at 1 o'clock in the morning with this much energy and then come back at 12.
He's gonna be like Jason when he called in the one show where he was just like done, you know. He was just all calm and everything like that. All right, guys, we will catch you tomorrow.